City Council members, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, welcome to our panel today. In today's panel, we will discuss the controversial topic of gentlemen's clubs located within city limits. We hope that by the end of our presentation, you will have garnered more information that will assist you in next month's meeting. My name is Grayson Harcourt. I've been a moderator for 10 years, moderating panels, debates, town hall discussions, and will thus moderate today's panel. To start us off today, I'd like to introduce our four panelists. Immediately to my left is Sarah Crick. Sarah is a owner of a gentleman's club. She has two of them and is looking to expand her operations. To her left, we have Katharina Weber. Katharina is a local businesswoman with a background in law and is also a former city council member. To her left, we have Joey Cassia. Joey is the preacher at High Revival Baptist Church. And to his left, we have Ahmed Al-Jaber. Ahmed is a local businessman that has an operation situated next to a gentleman's club. For today's panel, I will ask each panelist 3 questions, to which they will have 1 minute each to answer. Panelists, I will raise a yellow card when you have 30 seconds remaining to your answer, and a red card when you have 10 seconds left. Due to time constraints today, I will have to cut you off if you do go over your allotted time. Members of the audience, I please request that you hold all questions and applause until the end. With that, I would like to begin with Sarah. Sarah, what are some benefits to having gentlemen's clubs located within city limits?
My name is Sarah Crick, and I am for having gentlemen's clubs within city limits. One of the most positive aspects of having these clubs within city limits is the economic benefits they bring. According to Judith Lynn Hanna, author of Naked Truth, the city of Atlanta has over 40 clubs in that city, and they bring in $240 million a year in annual income for the city. That's more than all 3 of their major sports teams combined. In addition to that, the state of Texas has implemented a poll tax, which is a $5 fee that patrons must pay upon entry to the club that goes to a fund for sexual assault and rape victims. Lastly, according to Ricks.com, their website, they have 40 clubs across the country. They actually have stock on the NASDAQ, and Forbes lists them as one of the 200 best companies to work for in the country.
Thank you. Katharina, what are your concerns about having gentlemen's clubs within city limits?
Hi, my name is Katharina Weber, and I'm against having gentlemen's clubs within the city limits. Some of my major concerns with having gentlemen's clubs within the city limits are higher crime rates, real estate decline, and neighborhood decline. As in several court cases, such as the City of LA versus Alma Books and Renton versus Playtime Theaters, both cities provided evidence of having higher crime rates and decline in real estate. So again, this is my major concern with having them in city limits.
Thank you, Katharina. Joey, do you believe that gentlemen's clubs have negatively affected the community?
Hello, my name is Joey Cassie, and I'm against gentlemen's clubs within our city limits. First off, gentlemen's clubs exploit women and degrade women overall. I feel that gentlemen's clubs bring criminals into our town, and they do not provide a good influence or provide any positive value to our city. These gentlemen's clubs glorify sex, and they provide a sense of awful, pretty much they just glorify sex and do not help our society at all. According to Town Hall Finances, nuns and church groups in Chicago and in Houston have been supporting the family model to get rid of gentlemen's clubs within our city limits. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Ahmed, how do gentlemen's clubs affect the economy?
Hello, my name is Ahmed Al-Jaber, and I am for strip clubs within our city limits. Strip clubs can help with getting jobs to people who work there, and strip clubs can earn a lot of money by customers spending a lot of money. And then, according to Brookhaven, a rapper Fabulous, and comedian actor Kevin Hart spent $37,000 on dances in a party on March 2012.
Thank you. stated that you're against gentlemen's clubs located within city limits. Do you have any alternative solutions?
So, some of my solutions were if we provide secondary effects, meaning if there's evidence of decline in real estate or higher crime rates, then we can provide more zoning restrictions for these gentlemen's clubs. Several different court cases have done this, such as Renton versus Playtime. Also, if we do not find any evidence, then we can certainly try to move the strip clubs not within city limits. Also, a great example is with the state of Texas. They have a taxation in which the proceeds go to victims of rape, and this could also be a great solution for this.
Thank you, Katharina. Joey, why do you think there are so many people in favor of gentlemen's clubs located within the city?
Well, I feel that people who are in favor of going to gentlemen's clubs regularly actually deal with multiple stress and loneliness issues. According to Forbes.com, a source that states that most people that are regular attendees to gentlemen's clubs actually have selfish reasons for going to these gentlemen's clubs. The only benefits that they provide is alcohol and music and naked women. And this can be seen as a form of entertainment, but overall, these are vices and mechanisms to avoid life. I don't feel that this is providing any sense of benefit to our society or providing any sense of help to our community. Everyone that is attending these gentlemen's clubs are going to for a sense of fake pleasure, and it's all paid for. They aren't actually experiencing happiness.
Thank you, Joey. Sarah, from your experience, can you elaborate on the economic impacts gentlemen's clubs have had on surrounding businesses?
Actually, businesses can benefit greatly from having these establishments local to their business. They bring in a higher caliber clientele with more disposable income. They generally don't draw low-income clientele. In addition to that, they also just generate more foot traffic in general. So the patrons of the club, as well as the employees, the managers, dancers, all tend to become regulars of businesses local to that establishment. In addition, according to Hannah, in the states of Iowa, Florida, and Pennsylvania, there have been several cases where in lower income neighborhoods, upscale clubs have been established that have actually raised property value. They've deterred vagrants from lingering in the area, and several business owners have stated that if the clubs were to leave that area, that their businesses would suffer greatly, actually.
Thank you, Sarah. Ahmed, how can locations benefit from the community?
We can benefit from location of strip clubs by attracting people to struggling areas within the community. According to Forbes, under current law, tax credits are available for businesses located in enterprises zones. Enterprises zones are where are typically created in economically disadvantageous area as means of encouraging business to set up shop and make local products.
Thank you.
The idea is, of course, that giving business tax incentives to relocate to struggling area will result in more employment, more sales, ultimately return of tax dollars to the community.
Thank you. Joey, how do you plan on stopping the growth and building of gentlemen's clubs within city limits?
Well, first I would like to peacefully protest and then hopefully pass some sort of legislation in the near future. According to New York Times, Houston and Atlanta governments and church groups have been coming together and buying out strip clubs and providing new and safe places for men and women to go rather than these strip clubs. Because Atlanta and Houston have the two most strip clubs or gentlemen's clubs within their city limits, I feel like our city should not try to mimic those cities, and we should actually follow in their footsteps in avoiding getting to that point of having that many strip clubs and getting and replacing them with beneficial shops and businesses. Also, in closing, I would like to restate that I am against strip clubs or gentlemen's clubs within our city limits, and hope that you are on my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Katharina, will your proposed solution still uphold gentlemen's club's First and 14th Amendments?
Thank you. Yes, if the city finds secondary effects, meaning higher crime rates or a decline in real estate, then yes, the city can uphold more zoning restrictions on gentlemen's clubs. However, if no evidence of these secondary effects, then we must still abide by the First and 14th Amendments. In the case of Renton versus Playtime Theater, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that local ordinances can regulate the time, manner, and place that these businesses can be operated without violating the First Amendment. Once again, I went over some of my concerns, which are higher crime rates and decline in real estate. Some of my solutions were to have these gentlemen's clubs without city limits and provide more zoning restrictions. And once again, these zoning restrictions still uphold the First and 14th Amendment. And my name is Katharina Weber, and I'm against having gentlemen's clubs within city limits.
Thank you, Katharina. Ahmed, can you tell us a little bit about what happens to the tax money received from gentlemen's clubs?
In Illinois, strip clubs tax to aid rape victims. According to Yahoo News, if every person is taxed, rape would fund about 44 million rape crisis and sexual assault programs in Illinois. Proponents as funding for rape crisis counseling programs has declined within budgets slashed in tough economic times. Isn't it appropriate for those who profit from sex industry to support efforts to help those affected by sexual violence? In conclusion, my name is Ahmed Al-Jabra and I'm for strip clubs within our city limits.
Thank you. And finally, Sarah, gentlemen's clubs have many stigmas attached to them. Can you address a few of these for our audience, please?
Sure. One of the most common misconceptions about strip clubs is that these dancers are in danger on a regular basis and that they're constantly sexually harassed, when this is really not the case. Many dancers interviewed have said that they've really been more sexually harassed more often in professions that they've pursued outside of the club. At least within the clubs, there are managers and security that uphold regulations and rules that protect these dancers, which the dancers do pay for. In addition, another common misconception is that most people don't really find dancers to be business people of sorts, but according to San Francisco Gate, there was a club opened in 1997, which was the first unionized strip club called the Lusty Lady. This was bought out by the dancers themselves in 2003. They all pooled their money together to buy it, and they implemented 401k plans for themselves as well as health insurance. Unfortunately, the club closed down in 2013, but it might serve to be a model for future clubs. With that being said, I would like to conclude by saying that I am for strip clubs within city limits.
Thank you, Sarah. That wraps up our panel part of our discussion today. I would like to thank both our panelists, city council members, and members of the audience for taking part. Before we get to the question and answer part of our discussion today, I would like to remind everybody the positions held by our panelists. Sarah Crick is for gentlemen's clubs located within city limits, and she discussed some of the many economic benefits as well as going over some common myths associated with gentlemen's clubs. Katharina Weber is not for gentlemen's clubs located within city limits, and she highlighted some alternative propositions as well as making sure that they are constitutionally viable. Joey Cassia is also not for gentlemen's clubs located within city limits and discussed some plans that might keep them from entering our city. Finally, we have Ahmed Al-Jabbar, and he is for gentlemen's clubs located within city limits and discussed some of the economic and government programs that are available. With that, I would like to open our panel to questions from the audience. Don't everybody raise your hand at once. Yes, ma'am, I'll start with you in the right.
Okay, so if most dancers get like money directly from their clients, how do you exactly use those funds, tax those dollars? How do you tax those dollars to help with all these funds and things like that?
I will pass that question to you, Sarah. Sarah, the question was how you regulate the flow of funds.
As far as the dancer's income goes, it is the responsibility of the dancer to fill out, I think it's a 1099 or something like that They fill out a form and they report their income to the government. And this they would need to do if they ever want to go buy a car or anything like that, and they want proof of income, they really need to do this. Most of the profit that comes from the club is through alcohol sales, so that's what most of the city rakes in, is through the alcohol tax, which ends up being 15%, I believe, in the state of Texas. So, but the dancers do report their taxes. Not all of them do, but it's at the discretion of the dancer.
Yes, sir, I believe you in the back had a question.
Yes, this question is for Joey. Do you think gentlemen's clubs will continue to be an issue in your city?
Joey, the member of the audience asked if gentlemen's clubs will continue to be an issue in our city.
Well, if we follow my plan of hopefully peacefully protesting and following the example of Houston and Atlanta of buying out the clubs and providing safe places for men and women to go rather than gentlemen's clubs, I don't think this will be an issue. But if we completely neglect or forget that this is very influential and hurtful to our society, I think it will be continuing to be an issue.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, in front.
This is for Sarah. Do you know how the gentlemen's clubs in Austin have affected the economy in the past?
Sarah, the question from the audience was, do you know how gentlemen's clubs in Austin particularly have affected our economy?
Yes, actually, according to the Austin Statesman, in 2012, in the month of August alone, strip clubs raked in about $1.3 million in alcohol sales, which ended up equating to about $200,000 in revenue for the city just that month, which after about a year, it averages out to be about $2.4 million a year for the city of Austin, just in alcohol sales.
Thank you. We have one more question available. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
This question is for Katharina. If the city cannot find evidence of secondary effects, how will you keep gentlemen's clubs outside city limits?
Katharina, the question from the audience was, if secondary effects are not backed up, how can you maintain going forward?
Yes, thank you. My plan would probably most likely be to have these gentlemen's clubs moved outside of the city limits. There has been like several cases where this has occurred, such as the City of LA versus Almohada Books, in which they displaced the gentlemen's clubs outside the city limits.
Thank you. With that, I'm afraid we are now out of time. I thank everyone again for your participation and hope you have a prosperous rest of your day.